Hey, it's Sutton Parks, throwing down some work, getting some overtime in. Started at 10 last night, got done at noon today. The old man still got it. When I was a kid, I played hockey, and there was a coach, about a 50-year-old guy with a beer gut, and he'd say, hey, we're going to play a game. The game's called Catch the Old Man. And then he'd take off, and we'd try to catch him, and we could never catch him. Even the kids on the travel teams, they couldn't catch him. Well, I'm going to get back to that story in a minute. So what I found out at work this week, I almost quit. I was so pissed off. I found out that they just hired a young kid from a restaurant. No, he hosted. He was a host. They're paying him $1.50 an hour more than me. You know, I've been running my cleaning company for 10 years. They said, well, he has customer service experience because he's a host at a restaurant. Well, you know, I do a little bit of customer service. I do sales, marketing. When I first heard about that, you know, I went home for lunch and I threw my name tag in the garbage and I said, I ain't even going back. And then I remembered, you know, I've learned that I don't want to make a decision when I'm tired. It's just because, you know, I have a little bit more fears acting up and my ego's acting up. I need to sleep on it. That's why they say sleep on it. So I decided, you know, I went back to work and I slept on it. And so the next day I thought, well, keep your eye on the prize. Look at the big picture. I can always get another job. It's not a big deal. But if I quit right now, it's going to hurt. It's going to take me a couple weeks to get a job. I mean, when you go through the process, I can get a job probably in 3 or 4 days around here, but you still have to go through the process of training or whatever you do. And I might not be able to I want to make a big tax payment again this month. You know, and I knew it was my ego because I was happy with my pay last week. But, you know, that would have been, you know, if they'd have paid me that when I started, that would have been like an extra $1,000 I would have had. Low battery. So we'll make it quick. So it still bothered me, but, and I went back to work and then something happened, you know. It took me about a day and a half, and then the only good I complained about it to the union. I complained about it, you know, I talked about it to management, and really management couldn't do it. There's nothing they could do. It's controlled by the people in Cincinnati. The union couldn't do nothing about it. So, which is funny because they can keep the guys that don't work from getting fired, but they couldn't help me out. So, all I can think of is, you know what? No 20-year-old kid is going to outwork me. Man, when you get about 50, you start getting 40, and then by 50, you've been through some battles. Nobody at that age hasn't been through things in life. And I've worked way harder than this. I just said, there's no way he's going to outwork me. And I said, you know, no one's going to outwork me. I'm going to show them. Consider it a gift. In fact, the CEO of the company should call up the HR department and tell the person that hired me that I'm going to give you an extra $100 for hiring that guy because that's how good he is. By that time, my body was conditioned. You know, it's throwing groceries, but it's pretty hard work unloading. You know, you unload the trucks and you got to unload the pallets and canned goods, olive oil, dog food. I do a lot of cereal, which isn't too tough, but water. And man, I'm going to throw this stuff down, man. I'm going to be the best. And I went in and I worked my ass off. And it felt great. I don't know, I worked off some anger or whatever it was, but I was playing, there's my man, Rocky Balboa. I was playing the Rocky music, the soundtrack on my iPhone, and I just pulled out every mental trick. I mean, because this is all, you know, so much of this is mental. There is a physical aspect, but just like most of life, it's really how do you handle it mentally. And when you look at, you know, these high performers, you know, you look at like a Navy SEAL or any of those guys, they just say, you know, stuff like embrace the suck, you know. And a friend of mine told me, he goes, you know, this stuff isn't really hard. You know, the guy I talk about that will row a boat across the ocean or do those 100-mile races, and he's like, you know, just regular life, it's not hard. There's nothing hard about this. There's nothing hard about going in and throwing groceries. And it's easy. This is easy work. That's what Floyd Mayweather always says. Easy work. This is easy work. And just that attitude made it easier, and it motivated me. And I did great. And the boss asked me to, I do my cleaning. It's the weekend now, and he wanted me to come in Saturday. And I'm like, sure. So I came in Saturday. I started last night at 10. I ended today at noon. Now I got to get a little sleep. I'm going to go back in tonight, help him. I got some windows to clean tomorrow. I'm going to hustle like I'm ugly. That's what the rappers say. And there's no substitute for hard work. And it was great. Really, they almost got me. They almost got me. I mean, I was just about there. But I'm glad I thought about it. And I'm glad I'm doing this. In fact, it's worth $1.50 an hour to learn this lesson. It's worth... And before I decided to walk the Appalachian Trail last year, man, I'm 222 now, 222 pounds. I was 258 pounds last year at this time. It's that goal that motivated me. But I was sitting around last year during the summer thinking, Jesus, this is it. At that time, I was almost 50. I was fat, and I lost that fire in my belly. I just lost it. And now with training, I'd have it sometimes maybe on a bike ride or while I'm out hiking up a hill or something. But now, like, this thing just lit me on fire like I haven't been in a long time. I don't know what it is, but I'm telling you, if you're 50 years old or 55 or 45 or somewhere in there and you don't feel that fire in your belly, it's still there. You can get it, back in the Stone Ages when they first, found fire from lightning, these guys would take the ember and they learned how to, they didn't have matches or a lighter, so if there was a fire, they'd have to get a hot coal, and that's how they'd light the next fire they would need. And sometimes they'd travel with that hot coal, and they had a way of wrapping that hot coal to protect it, to keep it going. That's what I'm going to do with this fire in my belly now, because I've had it on and off, and it's easy to let it go out. Remember that old gospel song, this is my little gospel light, don't let Satan it out type of thing? I'm not going to let that go out. And the only thing I can think of is just, I don't know how not to let it go out other than just keep working hard, keep grinding. And yeah, let's say yesterday was a 12-hour day, today was 14 hours. Well, how many hours do you think it's going to be on the Appalachian Trail? This whole thing I'm doing at work, it's nothing but training for the Appalachian Trail, not only physically, but mentally. My friend said, you're going to want to quit over and over again. And he said, just don't entertain that thought. Don't let it come in. Fight it. Say, I'm not... No matter what, man, they'll have to carry me off in a body bag. That's the only way I'm leaving. And he said, think about how it's going to feel when you see that sign, Mount Catton. Think about that. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on the prize. So it's really, like, this week has taken me to a new level. Something that seemed bad. Yeah, I want the money, but I want this lesson. This is why I made the trip. This is the whole reason why I decided to make it, because I knew I'm going to be, when I step on that trail, I'm going to be a different person than I am right now. I'm already a different person than I was last year. I needed something to motivate me. If you don't have that fire in your belly, find something, create something, make something up. This is just something I've been wanting to do for 20 years. It's been a dream, but there's always a reason not to do it. And finally, I'm getting a little, there is such a thing in life as too late. I don't want to be too late. That's why I'm doing it now. And I'm ready to go. But the lessons I'm learning and the person I'm becoming, and the people I'm going to meet, that's going to be like the prize on the at the bottom of the cereal box. So hopefully there's some motivation in there. I'm telling you, I'm so grateful. Man, if I had $10,000, I'd give it to the store they taught me a great lesson. And, and now I go in there and like I have something to prove. I'm going to be the best. Ain't no millennial couch sitting, PlayStation playing kid gonna outwork me. Come on. Give me a break. Dude, ain't gonna happen. And if it does, respect. That's what I'm saying, respect. So anyway, hey, I guess that's to say you want to change the world, change yourself. Take care.